Now we're rolling, Damage Plan MMA podcast. I am Jason, and as a little change up today, I have a special guest interviewer, Mr. Cole Schaefer. Cole, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
Good, good. So we're kind of flipping the script a little bit. We're giving Zach his fighter spotlight interview for his main event fight next Saturday night for the SteelFist Fight Night promotion. Zach, how does it feel to be on the bottom?
It feels weird. I don't like it. I don't like change. I am a creature of habit. You know, I'm the type of guy that goes to a restaurant and if I find something that I like, that's all I order. I think in the last 20 years, I've had fish and chips every time, but maybe one or two times at Red Robin. They have the best fish and chips ever. And I've tried a burger once. I've tried a salad once. I'm like, they were fine, but they weren't fish and chips. I am a creature of habit to the max.
I think we all are in a sense.
Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
You know what's funny is you say that, and you guys know I do nutrition consulting for my clients, and a common thing that I get is I can't eat the same thing every day. So I always tell them, if you were not eating what was on this meal plan, what would you be eating? Well, I don't know. I'm like, you eat the same thing every day, whether you realize it or not. You're pretty much eating the same groups of food. You just choose not to put in the work to do the nutrition part. Anyways.
Yeah.
Big fight next Saturday. How you feeling, man?
Big fight. I actually feel great. I think that 170 is going to be my new home as far as fighting. I think it's the right weight class for me. And if I want to, do this and take this serious, and I think it's important to do things the right way. And I've always, from what I've seen studying the sport, it's the better the competition you face, the more important fighting in the appropriate weight class is. So it's time to be 170, and my body feels great making my way down to 170.
Cole, before you chime in a question, since we're talking about this weight thing, I want you to talk a little bit about how you got there. I know we've talked about it on the podcast in the past, but what's the background noise? We got a lot of background noise here.
Might be Cole a little.
Cole, I think you get.
Yeah, we're driving, so I'm like,
is it automatically adjust? Hang on just a second here. Can you hear?
Yeah.
I think he's got a little bit of a thing here. Anyways, sorry, just trying to adjust the volume on there. So talk a little bit about your journey to get down to 170. We've talked about it in the past in the podcast, but this is your spotlight, and talk a little bit about where you started and what you got you to this point and how you got to this point to be fighting for the 170-pound title, 170-pound title.
I mean, I think everybody's heard, but if they haven't, I was 270 pounds when I joined One Hit MMA. And here's the thing. I tried it, and everybody that wants to lose weight and wants to lose a few pounds, they all want to find the magic pill that does it, the fad diet, whatever. And at the end of the day, if you want to lose weight and be more healthy, it ultimately just comes down to consistency, exercise, calorie deficit, and how you fuel your body and what you eat. I tried the P90X thing. It's great while you're doing it.
Yeah.
And the weight just comes back after because you're not doing it anymore, and it's hard and it breaks down your body. But again, you have to just develop a healthier lifestyle, and there's no shortcuts to that.
Yeah. What do you think? What kept you being consistent? Like, what was the thing that said that you waking up every day that you're like, I need to keep doing this for myself, for my health, for my family? Like, what was that thing that kept you going every day? Because you've been going at this for 4 years now, right?
Yeah. First and foremost, my wife and my kids. My wife had been begging me for years to be healthier, to take care of my body so I didn't die young. I mean, I guess I'm okay enough that she wanted to keep me around and me not die. But, and then when you become a dad, you have a responsibility to be there for your kids. So, I just trying to find that thing that made me want to go to the gym. But the other thing is finding a sport too that I love, that I look forward to going to training. Like, I can honestly say in that 4+ years, I've never missed training because I just didn't feel like going that night. Never. Like I love to train and I love to go do it, but I was that way with baseball and basketball and football growing up. Like I love to play and I love to, to me, it's just, we're just playing. Like I'm playing a game and it's enjoyable, but I hear people, they're like, I don't feel like going to training tonight. I can't relate to that feeling. I don't know. I don't know what that's like. Like I look forward to training. I look forward to training, trying to make my schedule work around training twice in a day. One, to get better, but two, you get better, learn new things. I've fallen in love with jujitsu because you get to end every class pretty much with rolls, and I get to compete and see where I'm at. And it's not an ego thing, but like, I just enjoy it. I'll sit down and we're going to Cabo in a couple weeks. I'll sit down and play chess all day and never get sick of it. Like, I just love playing games and doing stuff. So finding a sport that I love that is a very active and high intensive sport has been a huge help. You know, it's not slow pitch softball once a week. It's not a church basketball league once a week. It's something that I do 6 days a week, that if I'm healthy and can do it, I'm there. That's what I want to be doing.
So as somebody that's done this for a long term, done it with you, how are you activating with an active recovery, stuff like that, to make sure you don't overtrain your body? I mean, you've been going at this 14 months. You've had 4 fights scheduled that have been bounced. You know, you've been pushing for such a long time. What are you doing to make sure that you don't overtrain, don't break your body down to the point that you just get hurt?
I'm grateful first for a coach that tells me, dude, go take a day off. Aldo can see it. He's told me before. I communicate very well, and we can have a very honest back and forth, because too, he also knows that I'm not trying to get out of training. Like that's where I want to be. So that helps. But he'll tell me, hey, dude, you've been redlining for a while now. Like, go take a day or two and chill. And even when he tells me to do that, I still go to I'll go to Vasa and I'll go swim laps. I'll go for jogs. I'll go do sauna time. Like the active recovery stuff more is like yoga, stretching, sauna time, swimming, stuff that's not high impact on my body, but still gets me going. If you're an athlete, I do not believe that just rest is just laying on your couch and watching TV and having a rest day. Like, you can still go, even just taking my dog for a walk, just getting out and doing something. And I think that I think that that's been why I've been able to avoid major injuries in the weight room too, or in the training room too.
Nice.
Knock on wood.
So what do you know about your opponent, Mr. Justin McDonald, that you're going to be fighting next Saturday night?
I feel like I know Justin really well. I've been at every single one of his fights in person. I very intently, because he fought a teammate, watched his last fight. I've watched that fight a few times now in preparation for this fight. He has a game plan that he executes very well. And I'll just be honest and frank about it. With his last fight in person, and I am biased, he was fighting my teammate in person, I thought Brody won the first 3 rounds. I'm a person that believes that damage is what wins fights, and I saw Brody after that fight, and after 5 rounds not having a mark on your face and going to a judge's decision, I have a pretty hard time figuring out logically in my head how somebody won that fight. On the flip side, though, it's not like Brody inflicted much damage either. So Justin was pretty healthy as well coming out of that fight, I believe. So then it's, cage control. Well, Justin dominated in that area, and he put him up against the cage. He took him down, I believe at the very end of the 3rd round, which a takedown at the end of the round, according to Scott Bowler, shouldn't win somebody around, but also takedown defense isn't a scored aspect of the judging criteria either. So looking back on it, I definitely got to the point where I understood and would probably agree that with the judge's decision, but you could say whatever you want, but if you're a fighter, I do not believe in standing fights up. I do not believe in refs breaking up people in a clinch because he was executing a game plan, and he has a game plan that he's going to try and execute. I haven't seen anything that has shown that he has any intention to do anything else, and so I it's my job to be ready for what he brings to the table. And it's my job to be ready for everything else that he might decide to implement in his game plan. So, I mean, it just be ready everywhere, but I feel pretty confident and I know what he's going to try and do.
Well, that's one thing where you guys have had a couple of guys from One Hit fight him. Do you feel like that gives you a little bit of an advantage of seeing? And I mean, in the job you're doing right now, you break down fights, you analyze, you understand what a fighter's planning to do before they do it. I mean, even just listening to your commentaries from Fierce and that, you're understanding a game plan, you're understanding what people are trying to do. Do you think that plays a factor into you going into this fight, being able to read things and move off of what he's doing?
I think it definitely doesn't hurt. I think that, we break down fights every week, and I watch film on fights every single week of UFC fighters and high level fighters. And there's some guys that what they're going to do, right? Like you go into a fight and you just kind of know what they're going to do. They know what their strengths are. You do too. And they say, this is my, it's no different than football. They say, if you have the best running back in the league, they say, we're going to give this guy the ball 30 times in the game. Stop it. Good luck.
Yeah.
I kind of view Justin as that.
He's very good at what he does. He's undefeated. He's undefeated for a reason. Like I really believe he's gonna come out and say, I'm stronger. I'm gonna put you on the cage, and then I'm gonna try and look for opportunities to put you on your back and take you down. Stop it. And that's my job. And that's what I've been getting ready for the past three months since we signed for this fight. If he decides to take it anywhere else, I feel like I'm the better fighter I'm very confident everywhere else. Because that's the other thing too, is I've been training MMA for 4 years. And when I say I've been training MMA for 4 years, I've trained everything. My first day in the gym was was kickboxing. My second day was jiu-jitsu. When people ask me, are you more of a striker or are you more of a grappler? I don't know. I think striking's funner, but I definitely think my grappling doesn't suck. So I feel like I'm pretty well rounded. I think I have more tools. One thing when you talk about breaking down fights and looking at fights, I always look, what's fighter A's path to victory? What's fighter B's path to victory? I feel like I have a lot more paths to victory in this fight than Justin does. If Justin could execute kind of his game plan and what he does, he will win this fight. But I really feel like that's the only way he can win this fight. I feel like everywhere else, I have the upper hand and I can win the fight. I feel like I can win the fight. I win the fight everywhere else. Something that stood out to me on this fight, and this is me taking a step back and just analyzing and looking at both of you guys as fighters. Every time I've watched you guys fight, from watching your first fight at light heavyweight in 205 to now you're 170 pounds and lean, you've gotten better every fight. And that's something that I could say about Justin too, because I watched him in his earlier fights and I've noticed that he's gotten better. So this is one of those fights where it's like, what are we going to get from both of these guys? Because you've both gotten better. You both have been in the gym. He's the champ. You're coming at a new weight class. There's just a lot of excitement around this fight, and I'm super excited for it.
And I'll add one more thing. We just saw Justin fight. What did he fight? Like two shows ago?
2 shows ago. Yep.
Right, Cole? What was that? What was it? April?
2 shows,
right?
Yeah.
So he fought in April. So we kind of know that's where he's at, right? That's what he's bringing to the table. And you can only kind of go off your last performance in this fight. Y'all haven't seen me fight. Nobody's seen me fight since February of 2020.
Yeah.
And that was a fight that I feel like I was controlling the striking and I was controlling the grappling and the outcome. It just is what it is. But I'm over dwelling on the outcome. But it just is what it is. I've evolved in 17 months. I mean, it'll be pretty much 17 months since that fight next Saturday. And in 17 months, I am a completely different fighter than what anybody's seen. And the guys that I train with have seen it. And the guys that know what kind of work I've been putting in for 17 months have seen it. But man, nobody in that SteelFist cage, nobody in a cage has seen it. And I'm very excited to pull out some new toys that I've acquired in 17 months.
Does Cole looks just as intimidating on the interview as he does in his walk-in case? I'm like, I'm scared of Cole just doing the interview with him, man. He looks so damn intimidating. Oh man, he's got a little bad reception there.
So what happens when you live in Heber, Utah.
Yeah. Cole, what do you got? What else you got for Zach, Cole?
Like you said, he's 17 months. But you did have that fight with Ruben signed up. I mean, you guys got right up to the fight before they canceled that card, which is a heartbreaker. I mean, it's not like you've been sitting on your thumbs for this whole time. I mean, you've been ready for fights multiple times leading up to this. And I mean, against the top guys, I mean, you don't want to throw when you get an amazing fight. You really played
Sorry, guys.
Fought a tough guy. So I mean, it's not like you've been slacking. You're just gonna wait for somebody. So,
yeah, we're not.
Bad. But,
yeah, we're not. We haven't been sitting around waiting. And Cole, I could kind of hear what you're saying, but it was. I mean, people don't know. He's just talking about. I mean, like that was the other thing that I don't know if people understand. Or take it in consideration going into this fight. I was getting ready for Johan Rubio back in November. I went through a full camp with that, and Johan, for me, he was the best. He had the best amateur resume in Utah. That was a fight I asked for. And the big advantage he had on me was his wrestling.
Yeah.
And so I was in camp wrestling with that dude, getting ready for that fight for a long time too. That's why I kind of felt, this fight made so much sense for me to take too, is seamlessly. And now I'm getting ready for a wrestler again. Went from the Johan fight to this fight with Justin McDonald.
You're definitely not picking easy fights.
Well, there's a certain someone, and I'm not going to say who, and I'm not going to call him out or whatever. And who knows, maybe a call out will come out Saturday. There's a certain someone that felt like I was ducking them. They had a very average record. And they said, I don't want to fight, but it's just like at the end of the day too, it's like, one, it's like, I'm not going to take a fight that doesn't excite me. I need a fight. I want to take fights that when I wake up, I'm like, I have to get to the gym today too. Like I love to get to the gym, but it's like, if I take a day off, like I'm going to lose to that guy. I'm going to get beat. I'm going to get embarrassed. You know what I mean? Johan was that type of a guy that, dude, he got my blood pumping and like, look at the performances
as it should.
The performances that he's laid out. I mean, he's been on fire, and I knew he would have brought that. And I want to fight like that. I want a freaking dog fight. And I hope Justin brings a dog fight. Like explain this to me. If I'm ducking fights, then when a matchmaker offers you a guy that's 3-3 for a title fight, and then they turn around and offer you a guy that's 5-0 for a title fight, and you want the guy that's 5-0 for a title fight, does that sound like somebody's trying to duck fights and take easier fights?
No, not at all.
I mean, come on. Like I'm not trying to pick and choose fights either, but if I am, I'm picking the tougher one.
That's the one thing that I love about your mindset going into this is you don't want an easy fight. Like
no,
you're not going to the gym 6 days a week to fight some can and just kick somebody's ass. Like you want to test the things that you've been learning and training for the last 4 years.
And for the people that know who I'm talking about, it's no disrespect to him in his own right. He's a good fighter. I'm not saying he's a scrub. I'm not saying he's anything.
Yeah.
Personally, I I'd rather fight the guy that's 5-0.
Well, I think Cole can probably say the same thing. It'd be like him taking a fight of a guy that's got, maybe no pro fights, or, you got a guy with one amateur fight and he decides to go pro and he wants to go fight a Cole Schaefer. It's like, what good does that do a guy like him? It's nothing. It's not getting him out of bed to train in the morning.
No, but Tess is.
Hey, they are going to be welcoming a brand new, beautiful baby girl in the next 10 days. He's breaking up. His sound's a little broken up and he's pausing a little bit. So we apologize about that, guys. So he's a little muted right now. So going forward after this fight, this is something that we always talk about on the podcast. What's not looking past Justin, win or lose? What's next after this fight? Or do you plan on taking another fight? Is there a pro fight in your card? Where do you see yourself going, 6 months, a year from now in fighting?
I get these questions a lot. One, first and foremost, like, I'm a husband and father, and as Cole alluded to, like, I've gotten ready for what? I think 4 fight camps through COVID and waiting for fights to get going. And I feel like I've been in fight camp for dang near 17 months. It's that's right. What's next? Cheesecake with Fiji. That's what's next. So a lot of it just kind of depends on where I'm at, where my family's at and what's best for my family. I am an amateur and I have a business, and we have a growing podcast and things too that take time and energy. So there's not like an urgency to hurry and get back in there again really quick. I think it'll be a good time we'll get this fight done. We'll see what the result is, and we'll do a kind of like a little refresh and a reset and evaluate, when the next time to take a fight is. It's not. I don't think this is my last fight, and my wife has even mentioned that, for your next fight. So I think she knows what this is, and that I'm going to fight until I'd like to fight until I find my ceiling of where I can go in the sport and or until it doesn't become fun anymore to fight.
Yeah.
And right now I'm having a blast. So it's the fun part of it isn't going anywhere. And I don't think I've scratched the surface as far as the ceiling that I can go to. It is a goal. I would like to go pro, but at the same time too, I have a lot of faith in the coaches around me. I have guys, I have a coach like Aldo. I have a guy like Jordan Smith, who I still believe is one of the best fighters to ever represent Utah in MMA, in my corner. LJ Schultz, Joe Rodriguez, Matt Wilkinson's a good jiu-jitsu coach of mine that's been around a long time. Good pros. I have friends like Cole who he fights with pros and stuff. When I have people like that start telling me, hey dude, it's time, like you need to go pro, like I'll listen and then we'll go from there. But until then, I think 170 is my weight class. That'll be my home, and it'll pretty much just be, telling Kevin and Pat, you line them up and I'll do what I can to take them out.
Cole, what else you got? You look like you're chomping at the bits there.
I was just going to ask, as far as, you've done a lot of fights for SteelFist. You're supposed to have one for Fierce with that Johan Rubio card. Are you trying to stay more on that local scene? Are you trying to branch out more, even as an amateur?
Yeah, I like this will be my 6th fight for SteelFist. All my fights that have happened have been for SteelFist, but I have a working relationship with Cody and Fierce as well. And if there's an opportunity that makes sense, that's something that I'll sit down and I'll look at. It's as amateurs and we're independent contractors. Man, I loved what TJ Dillashaw actually said in the leading up to his fight this weekend. He said, as fighters, we're the CEO of our own company. And TJ Dillashaw, he said, I'm the CEO of my company, and I'm going to fight where I need to fight who I need to fight, be coached by who I feel like I need to be coached by, and train with who I need to train with. Zack, the entrepreneur and the podcaster and that guy, I'm into building relationships with as many fighters, coaches, and managers and promoters as possible. Zack, the fighter, SteelFist has always been good to me. Cody's been good to me, giving me opportunities as commentating and stuff like that, was giving me a good opportunity. And all I did was ask for it, and he gave it to me without blinking to fight Johan for his 185 title. I'm the CEO of my own. I'm the CEO of my own company as a fighter and my own brand, and I'll just do whatever I feel like is in my best interest. And I think loyalty and things are words that, keeping those relationships is always beneficial. So, I mean, I'd never want to do anything to be disrespectful to SteelFist in any way, shape, or form. But I've seen them be very encouraging too of fighters, and understanding of taking other opportunities as well. So it's just one of those things. I'm never fighting for street beef. Fiji, I am never fighting for
you and Fiji could headline the card, man.
One, I'm never fighting Fiji.
Well, I meant co-main and main event.
Okay.
And main.
But the other side of it is I don't fight for free. And I know I'm an amateur, but when I say I don't fight for free, I make sure that the ticket sales aspect of it's on point, and the sponsorships that I make the right business deals to make sure that when I say I don't fight for free, I don't fight for free, dog. It ain't happening. So
smart man. Smart man.
I like it. What else you got, Cole? You got anything else for Zack?
As far as things coming into this fight, I mean, this will be your first fight you're allowed to throw head kicks.
Ooh, good question.
So is that going to be something you feel like you're going to try to play off, or is that something you're going to be like, that's a little bit questionable and there's a lot of downsides too?
Well, when you're fighting somebody that's as heavy as a wrestler as Justin is, I mean, that's something it's always a risk reward, right? And you have to evaluate that in the moment. Anytime you go to a body kick or to a head kick, you are giving yourself the opportunity to get that kick caught and put on your back, and get put in a situation that you maybe, you don't want to be. I'm pretty confident in my jiu-jitsu and in my ground game that if I do get to my back, I can get up. So I definitely, I wouldn't say that that head kicks are a heavy part of my repertoire, but I do use them in training from time to time. And if the opening's there that I think I can clank my foot or my shin off somebody's dome, I'm 100% going to take that opportunity.
I like it. That's awesome. And as far as from a standpoint of you watching and analyzing that, how do you think that's impacted the amateur MMA in Utah allowing that head kick?
Weirdly, not as much as I thought it would. I've watched the last couple of shows and I haven't really seen too many attempts at it. We haven't seen anybody knocked out from a head kick yet, I don't believe. And I mean, that's usually if somebody lands a clean head kick, like it's going to put you to sleep.
We almost did on that Fierce card last week. Was that an amateur? Was that Sanchez kid amateur?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that guy was a monster though.
Did you watch that, Cole? Did you stream that?
I saw bits and pieces of it. So.
Yeah, that I can't remember his first name. That Sanchez guy.
Ahmed Sanchez. It's terrifying.
He threw the most terrifying head kick. And I mean, I think that guy just put his arm up just enough, but I guarantee he felt it.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
No, and so I just don't think I think too amateurs are still trying to get comfortable with it. We've been told no for so long that, it is a skill in itself to know timing wise and, when you can and should throw it. But I mean, it's coming. And I guarantee you this right now, if nobody has a head kick knockout by the time that Cole Faust is fighting, watch out because he throws them all the time, dog.
Nice. Well, your fighter spotlight interview has taken about 30 minutes so far. Two more questions for me. Cole, do you have any more questions? He's lagging just a little bit.
Just a little bit. I can't hear him.
We can't hear you, Cole. It's too choppy.
I can't hear you, big dog.
We can't hear you. Look at that smile, though.
Pearly whites.
There's some pearly whites.
All right. He's
All
giving
right,
us
we'll
the
let
keys.
him get out of here.
Okay, well,
See you, man.
thank you. See you, brother.
Love you guys.
Appreciate it.
Cole jumping in with us to chat about Zack's fight. We appreciate Cole jumping in here on this Fighter Spotlight interview. So I just got a couple more questions. As you know, these questions are going to come. One, prediction for next Saturday night.
Predictions are hard. When I analyze my own fights and I go it, dude, I see it going everywhere. Like I can see everything. I can see a 5-round dogfight. I could see a first round submission. I could see a second round knockout. I could see everything. And I'm prepared for everything. I think it fully depends on Justin.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I want a freaking bloodbath. Zach Cavender, Cole Schaefer, I want a war. Like, I want one of those under my belt. And if Justin wants to get into it with that, like, dude, let's freaking go. Like, let's do it. Cause I'm all about it. But man, it's hard. I think that there's going to be some opportunities for, me to use my jiu-jitsu in submissions. I think some people are going to be surprised by my wrestling abilities a little bit. Like, it used to be by far my weakest thing, and it probably still might be my weakest thing, but I don't feel like I suck at it like I used to, So I don't know, man. And the knockout, it's like the way if he fights me like he fought Brody, you didn't really give Brody a chance to knock him out.
No, he didn't. Not at all.
I noticed he said, I knew he couldn't knock me out. Well, you never gave him a chance because you never gave him the space to stand and really strike with you.
Yeah.
But beautiful execution of your game plan of, if somebody's going to stand and try and knock you out, take that away from them, take that tool away from them. And he did a good job with that. And he deserves all the credit in the world for taking that away from him. So it just, if he decides that he wants to play in space a little bit and try that, who wouldn't love a knockout?
Well, if you guys don't have your tickets yet, hit up one of these fighters. Don't hit up Zach because he doesn't have any tickets left.
And I think I have like 2 GA tickets available, maybe 3 left. Like, that's it. So,
well, if you can't get a tickets because they're sold out, which I think they're getting pretty damn close.
I think they're pretty close to sold out, dog.
Blitz.tv. You can get on Blitz.tv, order the pay-per-view, watch this. I am so excited for this fight because I know firsthand how much work you've been putting in just this last year and a half that we've been doing. You've been dedicated. You've checked all the boxes: nutrition, exercise, sparring, recovery. You're checking all the boxes. I'm excited to see the improvements that you've made since your last fight. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
No, absolutely. I'll start with my sponsors that have been riding with me for a long time. Tyler Nickel at Big O Tires on 9th South and 300 West in Salt Lake City. He was at the Bountiful store. Now he's at their big flagship store down in Salt Lake City. He's actually got my truck right now down there, taking care of some things. If you need tires, or if you need just an honest person to check out your car, that's the place to go. He's always been supportive of me. Legacy Roofing up here, they're the only certified company that does the Tesla solar panels and shingles for your roofs. They've been incredible. They've always been super supportive of all my fights, including this one, and I'm so grateful to have them aboard. Jenny, the food realtor, she's been really good. She supports us, our podcast. She supports a lot of fighters. She's a great realtor, lives out there in Tooele, and her and Boomer's girlfriend Lauren out there, they do their kitchen, which is meal prep company, and they've been hooking me up with meals. And 1, they're delicious, but 2, they're healthy, and they've been a reason why this weight cut has gone so smooth. And I'm going to give you a little plug on this. For all the fighters that are out there listening, if you struggle with your weight cuts or they're not fun, you're doing it wrong. It's not that bad. Weight cutting is not that bad if you do it correctly. Part of the reasons why I had so much confidence to go down to 170, even though I've never done it and I still feel comfortable with it, is we got to the point where I was making 185 so easy. I was like waking up day of weigh-ins 2 pounds,
Yeah.
2-3 pounds away. And, I mean, when you're making it that easy, and, I'm not going to be that much. I'm already below what would be my biggest weight cut. When I tried to do 195, I woke up that day at 206.5 when I cut down to 195 and made that weight. I'm already under that limit. So I already know, like, I'm not even going to be doing my biggest weight cut to get to 170. And I'm sure I'll lose another couple pounds before that as we switch up some diets and start cutting out some things as my training gets pulled back. So, I mean, get a freaking nutritionist, call Jason. He's helping a lot of guys right now. If weight cuts suck for you and they're hard and you're almost dying in a sauna the week of the fight or whatever, freak, man, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, get a freaking professional in your corner and call Jason and have him help you.
Just
Fiji. And you know what's crazy? If you do it the right way too, it's not all this like restriction stuff, right?
Really isn't.
Guys, I had Reese's Puffs 2 weeks ago. I had a bowl of cereal. Like, you give yourself little treats. Like, you can do little cheats. Like,
you ate a double cheeseburger last Saturday night.
I sure did, and it was delicious. You know what I mean? Like,
and not just because you're slacking off by any means. I'm saying he's done all the right things. If you're doing all the right things, it's okay to do those things.
If you follow the process, you'll put yourself in a situation where you don't have to die 2 weeks out to make weight.
Yep.
So get a freaking nutritionist, and just everybody that supported me. I do really well with ticket sales. Part of it is because I push it, and I get it. But the other part of it is that I just have a ton of people that love and support me, and I'm super appreciative of all those people. Critical Fit CBD has been incredible to me. I just wanted to end with them as a sponsor, Ammon Bennett, and he's been good to both of us. And
awesome, amazing.
But here's the thing. I will not be sponsored by a company that I don't believe in, and I've never been a fan of any CBD products I've tried. I'm a believer in his Critical Fit CBD product, and we had a nice podcast where he explained some of the science behind it. But I mean, straight up, I mean, look, I mean, I keep it back here, but like I put the creams and stuff on me. I in the pre-workout, I take the pre-workout before most of my practices. Like, dude, he's been good to me, but the products actually work, and they're a company that I'm proud to represent and I stand behind. And dude, we're gonna July 31st. We're gonna freaking get it. This is a fight that I cannot express how excited I am and grateful that I am. SteelFist give me the opportunity to be in the main event, but like I'm telling people, like, there's going to be a different Zack Partridge in that cage than people have seen before. And I said it when I announced the fight on my social media, and I mean this. This is the most violent version of myself that anybody's ever seen, because I have the tools to do it now that I don't think I did before, but mentally and physically, I mean, win, lose, or draw, I guarantee Justin McDonald's going to know he was in a fight.
I think we should just end it on that. I love it.
Let's do it.
I freaking love it. We'll see you guys next Saturday night, July 31st. Don't miss it. Blitz.tv, baby. We out. Hell yeah.